What if I told you that attraction isn't built through convincing, but through contrast, and most men get it completely backward? When a woman's not interested, the average man reacts. He tries harder, talks more, lowers his standards. But the Stoic man, he does the opposite. He becomes unbothered, unavailable, and unforgettable. Here's the truth. Women aren't drawn to effort. They're drawn to emotional gravity. And when you stop seeking approval and start anchoring in your value, she feels it, even if she didn't notice you before. Right now, you may think she's out of reach, but what's really missing isn't attraction, it's polarity. You've been trying to win her instead of drawing her in through presence, purpose, and calm detachment. If you're ready to flip the script and embody the type of man women can't ignore, like this video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment. I attract by standing still, not by chasing. Number 1. The more you seek her approval, the more she slips away. What if I told you the very thing you think makes you more attractive, disagreeing with her, complimenting her often, showing you're a good guy, is exactly what weakens your presence in her eyes? Imagine a flame. If you lean in too close, you smother it. But if you sit back, composed and calm, the fire dances on its own. That's what attraction is to a woman, not a checklist, but a dance with energy. And here's the truth, the more you seek her approval, the less magnetic you become. From a Stoic lens, this isn't about playing hard to get, it's about self-mastery. Epictetus once said, "A man can't learn what he thinks he already knows." When you chase her validation, you forget your own worth. You make her the judge, the prize, the measure of your value. And women feel that. Not through logic, but through subtle shifts in your posture, tone, and eyes. Seeking approval looks like texting again before she responds. Like asking, "Do you think I'm funny?" after a joke. Like constantly agreeing just to avoid conflict. But a man grounded in Stoicism doesn't outsource his identity. He doesn't perform for applause. He moves with quiet confidence because he already knows who he is. And paradoxically, that's what draws her in. Because when you stop looking for her approval, you do something rare. You invite her into your world instead of chasing hers. Let your silence create mystery. Let your actions speak without needing a reaction. Let your presence be felt, not by asking, but by owning the space you stand in. You're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose with clarity and calm. That's what makes you unforgettable. Comment below. I don't ask for approval. I live in alignment. Number 2. Why indifference is the most magnetic energy you can carry. Think of a river, calm on the surface, powerful underneath. It doesn't beg the rocks to move. It flows around them, reshaping everything with time. That's the energy of true masculine indifference. Contrary to popular belief, indifference isn't apathy, it's clarity. It's the strength to stay centered when you're not the center of someone else's world. It's the art of not chasing what doesn't choose you. Most men lose attraction not because they're unworthy, but because they overinvest too early. They give too much attention, too much reassurance, too much presence, before a woman has even earned it. They confuse attention with connection. But here's what Stoicism teaches us. The external world, including her response, isn't yours to control. Your job isn't to convince her to like you. It's to remain unwavering in who you are, regardless of whether she leans in or pulls away. So when she grows distant, tests you, or plays hot and cold, don't react. Don't explain. Don't chase. Do nothing. Live your life. Go to the gym. Build your craft. Laugh with friends. Let her feel the tension of not having easy access to you. This is what Stoic indifference looks like. Calm distance that invites curiosity. she begins to wonder, why isn't he affected? Why isn't he reacting like the others? And in that moment, the power shifts. Not because you manipulated her, but because you showed her that her attention is not your oxygen. Women are drawn to men who move with self-containment, who radiates the energy. You're welcome to join my path, but I won't pause my walk for you. That's not arrogance, that's emotional discipline. So the next time you feel the urge to prove, chase and explain, pause. Let your silence say what words cannot. Because when she has to reach toward you to feel you, that's when she starts wanting you. Comment below. My energy moves forward, not around her. Number 3. Why her heart follows your energy, not your logic. You could be perfect on paper, successful, respectful, stable, but if your presence doesn't stir something in her, if you don't make her feel, she'll drift. Not because she doesn't see your value, but because she doesn't feel it. Attraction doesn't live in logic, it lives in the body, in the tension between two glances, in the uncertainty of what happens next, in the emotional charge of a moment that can't be explained. Men often make the mistake of trying to convince her, listing their qualities like a resume. But a Stoic man doesn't argue for his worth, he embodies it. Because women don't fall for bullet points, they fall for energy. Energy that makes them question what's coming next. Energy that makes them feel seen without being smothered. Energy that feels like a secret only they're allowed to unlock. The truth is, logic makes her feel safe, but emotion makes her stay. And here's where Stoicism sharpens the edge. You don't control her reaction, but you master your energy. You slow down when others rush. You speak with gravity when others over-explain. You let her feel the pause between your sentences, the silence behind your eyes. This emotional restraint, this command of presence, creates the very friction that ignites desire. So don't tell her you're a good man. Don't explain why you're worth her time. Let her experience the shift in her body when you walk into a room and say nothing, because your energy said it all. When she's not sure what you'll do next, but wants to find out, that's when she leans in. Not out of logic, out of instinct. And that's when you win the only game that matters, the one she doesn't even know she's playing. Comment below. She feels me before she understands me. Number 4. The quiet strength of being willing to walk away. A silent line separates a man who is respected from one who is merely liked. That line is drawn the moment you're willing to walk away, with no drama, no warnings, no apologies. Not as a tactic, but as a truth. This is the ultimate form of freedom in the Stoic world. You stay only where your values are honored. You don't argue to be understood. You don't beg to be chosen. You simply walk. Because your peace means more than your place beside someone who doesn't see it. And when a woman feels this, she doesn't see a threat. She sees a standard. Here's what most men get wrong. They stay out of fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of losing the connection. Fear of never finding someone like her again. But fear kills respect. And without respect, attraction rots. A Stoic man loves deeply but holds loosely. He doesn't weaponize silence, but he also doesn't explain his worth. If she crosses a line, he doesn't need her to agree it was wrong. He simply exits the space where that happened. Because the moment you allow disrespect to go unchecked, you've trained her to devalue you. Walking away is not weakness. It's the loudest declaration of strength there is. It says, I am enough, with or without this. And that confidence, it echoes. It leaves a mark. It makes her question what kind of man chooses himself without guilt. It makes her realize that if she doesn't rise, she's going to be left behind. Not out of cruelty, but because greatness doesn't beg to be seen. So the next time she pushes a boundary, ask yourself, do I need her to change, or do I just need to walk away and let her feel the absence of my presence? Let your exit teach what your words never could. Comment below, I walk away when my peace is no longer welcome. Number 5. The power of controlling the frame without saying a word. Imagine a room filled with voices, some loud, some sharp, some eager to be heard, and then one man walks in. He doesn't speak first. He doesn't raise his voice, but somehow the room shifts. People turn, she turns. That's frame control, and it has nothing to do with domination. It has everything to do with direction. To control the frame is to guide the emotional rhythm between you and her. It means you don't ask, what do you want to do? You say, here's what we'll do, and you'll enjoy it. It's not about control, it's about leadership. It's about giving her a space where she can relax, knowing you're not swayed by pressure, confusion, or emotional tests. Most men unconsciously hand over the frame, seeking approval, avoiding tension, adapting to her whims. And the moment they do, attraction begins to fade. Because here's the truth. Women want to follow a man whose energy says, I know where I'm going. Stoicism teaches that self-command begins with self-direction. You don't control her reactions, you control your course. And when your frame is rooted in values, purpose, and clarity, it becomes magnetic. She tests you, not to break you, but to feel the strength of your foundation. So when she throws a curve, pulls away, teases, challenges you, don't fall into defense. Smile, stay centered, keep leading. Even silence, when used well, affirms your frame. I'm not shaken. I'm not chasing. I'm simply watching. The man who holds the frame holds the connection. Not by force, but by anchoring presence. And from that anchor, you lead not just the moment, but the energy of the entire relationship. Remember, you don't ask permission to lead. You lead, and she'll choose to follow, if your path inspires trust. Comment below, I lead with presence, not persuasion. Number 6. Make her compete, without ever saying a word. Attraction is not about possession, it's about positioning. When a woman senses that you are a man other women would desire, she unconsciously leans in. Not because you flaunted anything, but because your energy doesn't orbit around her. It moves with purpose. Independent, full, and sought after. In psychology, this is known as pre-selection, an instinct to desire those who are already desired. But here's the Stoic twist. You don't manufacture this, you live it. You live a life so full of passions, purpose, meaningful connections, that she realizes you are not waiting to be chosen, you already are, by the world, by your mission, by your own self-respect. When she sees you interact with others, especially women, with calm confidence and ease, she feels it. Not jealousy, but urgency, a subtle fear that if she doesn't rise to meet your level, someone else will. And not because you threatened to leave, but because you never stood still. This isn't about manipulation, it's about magnetism. You don't drop names, you don't flaunt admirers, you carry the energy of a man who is already admired, because you admire yourself first. A Stoic man knows this. Attraction is not something you ask for, it's something you inspire. So the next time you're out, be fully present with others. Smile. Engage. Let her witness that your energy is abundant, not reserved solely for her approval. Because once she senses that your attention is earned, not handed out, she'll begin to chase not just your attention, but your respect. And that's when you stop being an option. You become the prize. Comment below, I don't compete, I attract. Number 7. Let your silence speak louder than her words. There's a reason the quietest man in the room often feels like the most powerful. It's not what he says, it's what he withholds, what he makes others feel in the pauses between his words. In a world addicted to attention, silence is scarcity. And scarcity breeds value. When you speak only when it matters, when your presence holds weight without noise, you shift the energy of every interaction. Especially with women, because, unlike men who chase through logic, women feel through emotion. And nothing triggers deeper emotion than space, mystery, and tension. The mistake most men make? They overshare, over-explain, over-pursue. But the Stoic man knows, silence is not absence, it's intention. It's choosing not to fill every gap with validation or desperation. It's being comfortable with stillness, because you don't need her response to feel whole. When she texts something vague, don't reply instantly. Let her feel the space. When she asks a loaded question, pause, smile, answer with calm brevity. When the moment feels heavy, let silence stretch until she leans in. That's not game, that's gravity. She'll start wondering, what is he thinking? Did I say too much? Did I lose his attention? And that curiosity, it draws her in far more than any compliment ever could. Because silence, when owned, is not avoidance, it's presence. It says, I don't need to convince you, I already know who I am. And the truly attuned woman will hear that louder than words. Remember, in the wild, the lion doesn't roar to prove itself, it simply watches. And every creature feels the power in its silence. Comment below, I let my silence speak for my strength. Number 8. You are the prize, not the pursuer. From the moment we're young, we're told the same story, that the man must win the girl, prove his worth, earn her affection. But here's the truth most never hear. You are not chasing the prize. You are the prize. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. Because when you build yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally, when your time, energy, and attention are invested in purpose, not validation, you stop orbiting around her. She begins to rotate around your gravity. Men who constantly try to please, impress, or win women lose themselves in the process. They become extensions of her desires, not expressions of their own values. But a Stoic man, he lives by virtues, inner strength, purpose, integrity. He knows that love must be mutual, not earned like a trophy. So stop placing her on a pedestal. Stop editing yourself to fit her expectations. Start asking, does she align with my path, rather than, am I good enough for hers? Because the moment you view her as the reward, you hand over your frame. You chase, you shrink, you beg. But when you walk with dignity and value your energy and demand respect, she will rise to meet you or walk away. Either way, you remain whole. The most attractive men aren't loud, they're anchored. And that anchoring says, you can join my journey, but I'll never abandon it to follow you. Let her feel lucky to be part of your world, not because you withhold affection, but because your love is rooted in depth, not desperation. A true connection begins when both people feel valued, not idolized, not superior, but equally chosen. So stand tall, lead with truth. Be the prize not by proving it, but by embodying it. Comment below. I am the prize, not the pursuit. You came here wanting to change her mind, but now you understand. You don't win her over. You become the man who doesn't need to. A woman may not notice you when you're over-available, but when you shift inward, build your mission, guard your energy, and lead your life with presence over performance, she feels the change. You don't manipulate her interest. You magnetize it by becoming the man she can't easily read, can't fully reach, and quietly respects. And if she still isn't interested, you don't flinch, because you're not here to be chosen. You're here to choose who gets access to your world. If you're ready to become that man, calm, clear, and completely untouchable, like this video, subscribe, and comment. I embody value. I never chase it. Stay sharp, stay sovereign. Because the moment you stop needing her interest is when she starts noticing your presence.